Once upon a time, in a small, sun-drenched village nestled between rolling green hills, lived an old man. He had a cozy little cottage, a field that yielded golden wheat, and 3 strong, hard-working sons. You'd think his life was perfect, right? Well, not quite. His sons, while diligent in their work, were like 3 storms in a single teapot. They argued about everything: who worked harder, who was smarter, whose turn it was to fetch water from the well. You name it, they fought about it. The old man, with his wise, crinkled eyes, would watch them, his heart heavy with worry. He tried everything to bring them together. He'd sit them down for long talks, share stories of brotherhood from his own youth, and even divide their chores with painstaking fairness. But nothing worked. Their bickering was a constant, dissonant hum in their otherwise peaceful home. "Why can't you see," he would plead, "that your strength is in each other, not against each other?" But his words, like seeds thrown on stony ground, failed to take root. They would just nod, and moments later, a new argument would erupt. As the years passed, the old man's shoulders stooped a little lower, and his steps became slower. A serious illness took hold, confining him to his bed. From his window, he could still hear his sons' voices, not in harmony, but in constant conflict. He knew his time was running out, and the thought of leaving them so divided was a torment greater than his physical pain. He had to make one last, desperate attempt to teach them the most important lesson of their lives. Summoning what little strength he had left, he called his sons to his bedside. Their faces were etched with concern for his health, but even in their shared worry, a subtle tension lingered between them. "My sons," he said, his voice a raspy whisper, "I have one final request. Listen to me, not just with your ears, but with your hearts. You must learn to live in unity." They looked at each other, then back at their father, a familiar stubbornness in their eyes. They loved him, but they couldn't see past their own rivalries. The lesson, it seemed, was still beyond their grasp. The old man sighed. Words were not enough. He needed to show them. He had a plan, a final, simple demonstration. He pointed to a small bundle of thin sticks tied together with a simple cord, lying in the corner of the room. "Bring me that bundle," he instructed. The eldest son quickly fetched it. "Now," the father said, a faint glimmer in his eyes, "I have a challenge for you. A contest. I want each of you to take a single stick from this bundle." He gestured for them to untie the cord. Each son grabbed a slender stick. "The challenge is simple," the old man continued. "On my count, you will try to break your stick in half. The first one to do so will be the winner." The sons looked at the flimsy sticks in their hands, then at each other with competitive smirks. This was too easy. It was another one of their father's strange games. "Ready?" the old man asked. 1, 2, 3, break! In an instant, there were 3 sharp snap sounds. Snap! 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 Each son held up the 2 broken pieces of his stick, a triumphant grin on his face. "I was first!" shouted the youngest. "No, I was!" argued the middle son. "You both cheated. I clearly won," the eldest declared. And just like that, they were back at it, arguing over who had won the trivial contest, their sick father momentarily forgotten. The old man watched the familiar scene unfold, a sad smile playing on his lips. He let their bickering die down before speaking again. "Very good," he said softly, his voice cutting through their squabble. You are all strong. Breaking one stick is no challenge for any of you." He then pointed to another bundle of sticks, identical to the first, still tightly bound. Now, for the second part of the challenge, he had the youngest son bring him the new bundle. It was the same size, was the same number of sticks, all tied together firmly. This time, the father announced, "The rules are different. You must break the entire bundle at once. You are not allowed to untie it or break the sticks one by one." The sons looked at the tightly bound bundle. It looked much more formidable than a single stick. The eldest son, confident in his strength, took it first. He grabbed the bundle with both hands, placed it over his knee, and pushed with all his might. He grunted. His face turned red with effort, but the bundle barely bent. It wouldn't even creak. Defeated, he passed it to the middle son. He too tried with all his strength, twisting it, trying to find a weak point, but the bundle of sticks held firm, as if mocking his efforts. Finally, the youngest son gave it a try, using every ounce of his energy, but the result was the same. The bundle remained unbroken. Exhausted and confused, the three brothers stood before their father, the intact bundle of sticks a symbol of their failure. They looked at each other, not with rivalry this time, but with shared bewilderment. How could something made of such weak, individual sticks be so incredibly strong when bound together? For the first time, a glimmer of understanding began to dawn in their eyes. The old man watched their expressions change. He saw the gears turning in their minds. He propped himself up slightly on his elbows, his voice gaining a newfound strength. "Do you see?" he asked, his gaze moving from one son to the next. "When you were individuals, you were like the single sticks. Easy to snap, easy to break. Any small challenge, any disagreement, could tear you apart." He gestured towards the unbroken bundle. "But when you are together," he continued, his voice resonating with wisdom and love, "when you are bound by brotherhood and stand united, you are like this bundle. You become unbreakable. No one, no hardship, no enemy from the outside can hurt you. Your arguments make you weak and vulnerable. Your unity makes you invincible." A profound silence filled the room. The sons looked at the bundle, then at their father, and finally at each other. The old man's simple lesson had hit them with the force of a revelation. All the years of pointless fighting, of trying to prove who was better, suddenly seemed so foolish, so wasteful. They saw the truth in their father's words, reflected in their own failure to break the united sticks. Tears welled up in their eyes as they finally understood the depths of their father's wisdom and the precious gift he was trying to give them. They went to his bedside, not as rivals, but as three brothers, finally united in purpose and heart. They promised him they would never forget this lesson, that they would stand by each other, always. The old man smiled, a genuine, peaceful smile. His final lesson was a success. He could now rest, knowing his sons had finally learned that their greatest strength was, and always would be, in their unity. And so, the story of the old man and his sons lives on, a simple yet powerful reminder for all of us. Just like those sticks, we are stronger together than we are apart. Whether it's in our families, our communities, or as a global society, there truly is strength in unity. Thank you so much for watching and sharing this story with me. If it resonated with you, Please consider hitting that like button and subscribing for more tales that teach and inspire. Until next time, stay united and stay strong.